got so much money, I should start a bank. So much paper right in front of me, it's hard to think. Buy so many bottles, it's gonna be hard to drink. But I'm still growing up and my family here and they rolling up. So the bigger the bill, the harder you ball. Well, I'm throwing mine, cause my money long. The quicker you're here, the faster you go. That's why where I come from, the only thing we know is the bigger the bill, the harder you ball. Well, I'm throwing mine, cause my money long. The quicker you're here, the faster you go. That's why where I come from, the only thing we know is
play hard, work hard, play hard, work hard, play hard.
Thank you for joining us on another episode of Outside the Box. This will be Big Bad Brown's last episode. We will miss him dearly. We'll just start out with that. But really, we want to get into the NFL playoffs. The NFC Championship, AFC Championships, both on Sunday. One of the best sports days of the year, no doubt. Michael, we'll start with the first game, San Francisco at Atlanta. Who do you got winning this game and why?
Well, after seeing San Francisco's performance last week, it's very tough to pick against them. And I'm going to do just that. I'm going to pick against San Francisco on the road.
Wow. You picked Atlanta last week, right?
I know. I picked Seattle last week.
You picked Seattle.
Yes,
So you
I did.
flip-flopping?
I'm flip-flopping.
All right.
All right, seeing Matty Ice do that, you got the biggest comeback and second biggest comeback in playoff history. They come back, and Matty Ice does what he normally does. The playoffs didn't change him this time around, and he got the job done, and they won.
So that makes you more confident that they blew a 27-point lead or whatever it was.
But they still won, right?
20.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm not making a statement. I'm just asking you a question.
All right.
Well, yeah, it's funny how last week you called him Matty Ice Cold.
Right, and now you
He
you're
proved
all
me
over
wrong.
him now.
He has won me over.
Okay, now, wow, that's certainly fast. Yeah. Last week I said the Packers have no chance. Atlanta doesn't have a chance. I'm going to say it again. You can hear this. Atlanta does not have. See, I know in Vegas they have those things, and then they say they have this chance and that. Atlanta has zero chance. They're not going to be San Francisco.
Look at the camera. Don't look at Michael. Look at the camera.
Okay. Atlanta is not going to beat San Francisco. If they beat them, I'm taking 2 weeks off the show. That's definitely a buck.
You're taking
that's how confident I am.
You're taking 2 weeks out of the show.
Yes, that's how confident I am.
Wow.
I'm not sure if
Krebs might have to fill in for you the next couple weeks.
Next semester, we might start out with 2 good weeks right there.
Whoa! Okay, Jason, I'm sitting right here. You don't have to do all that.
You also told us last week that Seattle would win by double digits.
That was a good call.
But I think
I
think San Francisco, they're still broken from last year losing the NFC Conference Championship game. Still remember that Kyle Williams fumble on the punt return. So I think defense gets you to the championship here, San Francisco.
Good, there you go.
All right, well, I think San Francisco's going to win also. You guys know I'm a big Jim Harbaugh fan. I think he's a great coach. I think they have a phenomenal team, as talented as anybody. Colin Kaepernick does worry me a little bit because he can make big plays, but you also... That pick six against Green Bay. I mean, they won the game, don't get me wrong, but stuff like that kind of worries me, especially a young quarterback. And they are going to Atlanta, Georgia Dome. It's going to be a tough place to win. It's going to get loud there. Atlanta hasn't, I don't think they've ever hosted a NFC championship, so this is going to be a big game for them.
I'll see.
Yeah. So I like San Francisco to win the game, but I am a little bit worried. I'm not like Cujo, who's always confident in what he's picking. I'm not that confident. I don't think it's a done deal.
His books are normally spot on.
Yeah, so I am cheering for Atlanta, though, now because Cujo did that, because it would just be a breath of fresh air for all of us to not have Cujo on the show for a couple weeks.
That's funny. You're going to miss it.
That game is on at 2 p.m. The game following that, 5:30 p.m., is Baltimore at New England. What could be Ray Lewis's last game, maybe not if they get it done. Jason, who you got in this game?
Well, I do not think it'll be Ray Lewis's last game.
Going with Baltimore?
Yeah, I know New England's the favorite. It's extremely tough to win in Foxborough, especially in the playoffs. I know Cujo. I know what we're about to hear.
Really? I remember the Jets did it. That was just 2 years ago?
Yeah.
All right,
I think being Ray Lewis's last season, the Ravens are going to get it done.
Yeah, well, last season or not, this is his last game. All right, he's not going past. He's not going past Tom Brady. Tom Brady's going to go for his record sixth appearance in Super Bowl, and he's going to win it for the fourth time, tying the great Terry Bradshaw and Joe Montana. And he's going to be in the conversation with the best and all that. But I don't see Baltimore winning in Foxborough. It's going to be cold. It's going to be the same story last year. Now it's going to be a little bit bigger. It's New England's offense is a little bit better. See, people think Gronkowski missing their offense is going to slow down. No. Actually, it makes them a little bit more versatile. So the defense always looking out over Gronkowski makes I don't know. They're a little bit more versatile now, I think, with all those receivers. They have like 4. They can line you out like with 5 receivers all over, trying to cover all of them. They're pretty good receivers, all of them. New England wins 1 by a touchdown. They win by a touchdown.
You got a close game because the spread's really high right now. I believe the
Yeah, it's at 9 point something.
9. Yeah, Vegas odds makers got a 9. I was surprised by that.
Yeah.
Well, this game is going to be a tough one to pick. I have kind of gotten strung out by this. Baltimore has improved from last year.
Just go with New England.
They don't have Billy Cundiff, to miss the game-winning kick or game-tying kick. So I like New England still.
Okay, you said all that.
I knew that was going to happen.
That's how I do it.
First of all, Cujo, you should be banned for talking about football.
Oh,
What are you?
come on.
They're better without Gronkowski?
I'm not saying they're.
wrong
You
with
understand
you?
what I said? I didn't say they were
More
better. I
versatile.
said they're more
They're still not
versatile.
more
They
versatile.
can win.
They're
Doesn't mean they're
they're
better.
more versatile when they have him in there because they can run 2 tight ends that can both run like receivers, and linebackers can't cover them. They're more versatile with him in there.
Yeah, I
I
must
like
have
the
missed
use of
something.
Shane
Losing him-
Vereen. When
losing-
Gronkowski's in, Vereen doesn't play as much.
The point is
but
they
you
still
just took
win,
out
though.
maybe the best tight end in the NFL.
Well,
from the
I'm not
football
saying
team.
they're better.
Besides Brady, he's the most
they're more
important guy to that
versatile.
offense. Same thing happened to him last year when he played in the Super Bowl. He didn't play good. What happened? They didn't win. He wasn't on his A game. Now he's not even
But
in the
he's
game.
still in the
And
game. He was
Hernandez, we
limping,
know,
so we
we
didn't
know
use him.
Hernandez can play ball. We know that. But Gronkowski's on another level. He's probably the best tight end in the NFL. Without him, that hurts their offense. It does. And I still think they'll be able to produce, but I'm going to go with Baltimore. I think Ray Lewis and the fellas, they're going to go up and get it done. It's going to be a low-scoring game. I know everybody thinks it's going to be high-scoring. I think if it's high-scoring, Baltimore's going to have a tough time to win. I don't think they can win. I don't think they can string out a victory like they did last week against the Broncos.
Yeah, if they allow Patriots to score 30, they don't win that game. Baltimore's not going to win.
I
when Patriots
would
score
tend
30.
to agree with you. I think
Yeah.
they still can. It wouldn't surprise me.
I-
But I think
you could've said
Baltimore's
that.
got to
Just don't
come
let
out.
Patriots score 30.
Baltimore's got to
You're
run the ball.
screwed.
If they want to win, they got to run the ball and they got to play solid defense and kind of contain the Patriots. And they've had Tom Brady's number over the last couple of years. He's really never played good against the Ravens. Even going back to 2007, their undefeated season, that game Baltimore pretty much had it won. But the Patriots have always beaten them. They've always kind of
Found a way to win. That's
yeah.
what I'm saying. They're gonna
And
find a
last
way to win this game too.
I don't even know if you could say the Patriots found a win. The Ravens really kind of found a way to lose.
Yeah,
I don't
you can say that.
dropped that wide open touchdown, and then the kicker missed it. So I'll go with Baltimore. I feel pretty confident about it. That's the most confident pick for the whole week for me. Peyton Manning, guys, obviously played I won't say very bad. He didn't play very well last week, kind of had a clunker. And that's another playoff loss for him. What do you think? Does this affect Peyton Manning's legacy, and where is it in the pantheon of greatness in the NFL? Michael?
Well, I believe that Peyton Manning is a great quarterback. He has not been a great quarterback in the playoffs, and that's where your legacy is made right there.
Yeah.
And he has won a Super Bowl. That's great. But guess what? Rex Grossman handed him the Super Bowl ring that year. I will say that.
Yeah.
He didn't play well. He threw a pick six to Tracy Porter to lose them the game against the Saints.
Yeah.
Just not a clutch playoff player. He's a great quarterback overall, but in the ranks, I just don't see him as a very legendary player.
Yeah. On
'cause
the
he doesn't
top,
have the
yeah.
rings.
On the top 3, most people's top 3 quarterbacks of all time. Most people tell you Montana, Brady, and Manning, right? Okay. Yeah. Yes.
What?
Manning's record, playoff
Once again,
record.
the
No, no,
things
just-
that come
just
out of your mouth,
listen,
what are you
listen.
talking about?
Don't be obnoxious. Just
I'm not
listen to
trying to
what
be
I'm saying.
obnoxious. What are you
Yes.
talking about?
Most people actually think Brady, Manning, and Montana are the
You don't
one
need
of the-
John Elway?
Okay, you bring him in, but I'm not saying they're the top
What do
3
you mean,
for
most
sure.
people?
But they're up there with
Cujo,
everybody
Cujo,
else.
sometimes,
Just listen, let me finish what I'm
sometimes
saying.
you just say things
Yeah,
that
yeah,
are
yeah.
so outrageous.
Yes,
Namath,
they're
maybe.
all in. I didn't make a
Oh.
list. I did not make a
Goodness.
list. I'm just saying. Just listen for a second.
Christian Ponder.
I can't wait. I really hope
Manning.
Atlanta wins, so you're not on the show for the next couple weeks.
Peyton Manning has a 9-11 playoff record. Brady 17-6. Montana 16-7. Okay, Brady and Montana, they've always been good in the playoffs, and Manning not so much. He's under 500 in the playoffs. That's the average quarterback. Okay, that's not Peyton Manning.
That's
like
not an
that.
average quarterback, because the average quarterback doesn't get to the play as many playoff
Does not
games.
play
Peyton Manning.
20 playoffs.
I'm not saying the record. I'm saying just being under 500 overall in the playoffs. Okay, if you want to be, the greatness is by championship. How do you get there? You win playoff games. He hasn't done that much. He hasn't really done it. You could say he had a great team. He's always had a great offense, but somehow he always finds a way to lose, and people try to overlook it because he has 4 MVPs. But that's regular season. In the playoffs, he does not play like an MVP.
When LeBron wins all his MVPs.
Well, yeah, everybody said he choked. Everybody said he choked until he won. Until he won, right? Okay. But now what I'm saying is Manning's not clutch, and I think it hurts his legacy. He's certainly not in my top 5 anymore. Really not.
Okay, yeah. Manning has struggled in the playoffs. I think, and you say he's always had a good offense, but the defense has been sometimes kind of shaky for the Colts.
Yeah.
I think as far as our lives go, as far as watching football, the quarterbacks that we'd want to watch were Peyton Manning and Tom Brady, right?
Yeah, right.
2000s, those guys are top of the list, and Peyton Manning's going down as one of the best quarterbacks of all time. He's got 4 MVPs and a Super Bowl victory. Yeah, okay. He's struggled a little bit in the playoffs, but he's still up there right at the top.
I think, Cujo, when you just talked about your top quarterbacks, that killed me, but you made some fair points. You all made good points. Peyton Manning is definitely one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time.
Yeah.
But you got to look at the fact that he's just been terrible in the playoffs. And I can't you just say Brady, and I can't give him all the credit for 3 Super Bowl wins because that defense was a big reason they won. Out of the 3 Super Bowls, they only played in 1 semi-high-scoring game. The other ones were low-scoring, and the Giants shut him down both times.
Don't forget Adam Vinatieri.
Adam Vinatieri, yeah. He let him down a drive so they kick a field goal. But Manning's a great quarterback. He just hasn't gotten it done that well in the playoffs. There's really no other way you can shake it. His brother has.
Yeah.
Him and his brother are kind of opposite. His brother's been more average quarterback in the regular season, but when he gets to the playoffs, he's done big things. Mm-hmm. Peyton's been maybe the greatest regular season quarterback ever. Yes. Can we say that?
In the playoffs?
So, in my list, he's definitely top 7, 6 quarterbacks of all time. But no, he's not with the Montanas, the Elways of the world because he hasn't gotten it done when it counts. And, yeah, he beat the Bears, but that team was beat up going into the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. And Rex Grossman, come on.
Really? Yeah.
Come on.
Everybody knows. That's all you got to say. He played against
yeah.
Rex Grossman.
Yeah.
That's not, it doesn't count.
All right, so what I want to talk about now is whose legacy will be most affected by these next couple weeks for the playoffs, so the championship weekend, Super Bowl. So if their team, even if they lose or if their team goes on and wins the Super Bowl, whose legacy will be most affected? Cujo, we'll start with you.
As much as I want to say Ray Lewis, but I don't think winning the Super Bowl or going to a Super Bowl is going to change much about Ray Lewis. Everybody knows he's one of the top linebackers of all time, one of the top leaders of all time, if not the top. But really, it's between Brady and Ray Lewis. Kaepernick, he has no legacy. Matt Ryan, still getting there. He's not. We cannot start talking about legacy with Matt Ryan. And so that leaves you with Ray Lewis and Tom Brady. I got to go with Tom Brady, okay? If he goes to the 6th Super Bowl and actually gets his 4th Super Bowl, I don't know how you cannot start comparing
What
him
if he
to Joe
loses,
Montana.
and then he's the guy that lost 3 Super Bowls?
Well, then you start thinking, is it kind of
You
his
start
fault?
wondering if he could get it done without the
you start wondering, he's a great playoff quarterback, but then when he gets to the big time, he just somehow, it's not his fault, but somehow there's a way he's losing. So, I think Tom Brady gets most affected by that.
By either winning or losing. Okay.
Winning or losing.
Jason, what do you think?
I agree. I think Tom Brady could have the biggest legacy change this week. You already talked about how he wins this weekend. He'll have his 6th Super Bowl start. That would be a record for a quarterback and have a chance at that elusive 4th Super Bowl win, too. And you also mentioned Ray Lewis, and I think I'm kind of with Cujo. We already know his legacy. We know he's one of the greatest linebackers of all time. And I think we'd all remember him going out with the Super Bowl victory. That would be a great moment. One other guy, I know he's not on the field, he's on the sidelines, but somebody to think about, Jim Harbaugh. Made that decision to change quarterbacks with only a couple of weeks left in the season. Now he's taking his team to the Super Bowl.
And the second season. His first season
at San
NFC
Francisco.
Championship.
Yeah, he's in there.
As far as NFL coaching history, that would be unheard of. It's only his second season, so
elite.
not much of a legacy. But
Brown, what do you think?
Well, I'm thinking about this Baltimore-New England game has the biggest two factors, and I think that would be Ray Lewis and Bill Belichick. Because I
Okay.
think Bill Belichick, he's done all these things. If you look at how the organization's been run through all these seasons, yeah, he's got Tom Brady and all, but look at all these guys he's brought in. I mean, Gronkowski, Spikes. He just get up and left Randy Moss for no reason.
They're loaded
He's not afraid.
across the board.
They will load anything. Any player, he's a great, talented evaluator. It's just amazing how he continues to get all these talent, even with the low draft picks they always get. But you can't forget about Ray Lewis. Probably the greatest season a linebacker ever had, or a defense has ever had, back in 2000 when they won the Super Bowl.
Oh,
Best defensive
are
team.
you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
Trent Dilfer was the quarterback of that team.
I don't care
Trent
if Joe
Dilfer.
Schmo was the quarterback. It's the 85 Bears. That's the greatest defense of all time.
All right, and
Really?
I think we should just let's not get into that.
We won't get into the
We'll
Bears.
say that for
Yeah.
another week.
Yeah,
Trent
definitely.
Dilfer, really,
Yeah, Trent Dilfer
no
was garbage.
offense.
We know that.
He was
but
garbage. You had a
bad.
little bit of an offense there. Come on, the fridge scored a touchdown for you.
Jamal Lewis.
Trent
running the
Dilfer could
ball.
throw a
Point.
touchdown.
Jamal
He
Lewis
tried.
running, yes.
On offense, though. So it's like,
All right. I agree with you guys. It's probably Tom Brady. Tom Brady, if he loses this game to Baltimore at home NFC Championship, those aren't fun. He's gonna have to hear a lot of backlash from the media, a lot of backlash from the fans, and people are gonna wonder how you couldn't get it done because you're favored by 9 points. You know, in the AFC Championship, you got to get it done, and even more pressure. The pressure mounts on him if they get to the Super Bowl. If they get to the Super Bowl, the pressure is sky high.
Sky high,
Probably
definitely.
more pressure than I could ever think of anybody going to the Super Bowl with. Because if he loses, then that means he's won 3 Super Bowls, yeah, but he's lost 3 Super Bowls and lost 3 in a row without all those veteran guys on defense. So you got to start wondering for Tom Brady. But at the same time, Matt Ryan could be on another level if he wins the Super Bowl. He'd still be really young by winning the Super Bowl, and he'd be at the top of the list for quarterbacks. He'd be right there. If he plays well these next 2 games and they win it all, I'm telling you, he's going to leave a legacy of greatness. And if he loses on Sunday, he just might be just another
Matt
guy.
Ryan, that's not even-
Just another guy. And Ray Lewis, it really doesn't have that big of an effect these next 2 games on,
He
on
is
him.
what he is.
He leaves a legacy
the
of
last
greatness.
ride.
Yeah.
The last ride.
Yeah, he
Super
leaves a
Bowl.
legacy of greatness. So nothing that happens the next 2 weeks will change anything for me or what I think about Ray Lewis. So, that's that. Lance Armstrong, guys, he did an interview with Oprah Winfrey on Tuesday and finally admitted to using performance-enhancing drugs to win his 7 Tour de France's. Does this at all, we talked about him before, but does this at all change anything for what you guys think about Lance Armstrong? Jace, we'll start with you.
This changes very little for me. He's lied so many repeatedly times about his performance enhancement use, repeatedly denied it. Now there's that slight bit of appreciation for him to come out and admit the truth. I'm sure, it's probably even tougher to admit the truth after denying it all that time.
Lying
Just
all
come
the
out.
time, yeah.
But it changes so very little. He still played all those years, or cycled all those years with the use of steroids. It doesn't change much.
Yeah, it doesn't really change anything for me. It really doesn't change anything. I think he is what he is. When you think about Lance Armstrong now, what do you think? He's used steroids. You don't think the 7 championships he's won in a row doesn't really do anything because he cheated. And he admitted it or not, but a lot of his teammates, blamed it on him. So actually, he did it, proved it on him. So that really didn't change anything. He is what he is. He cheated. He deserved all the negativity from the media. I never really had an opinion on the guy. He is what he is. Okay, there you go. He's a cheater, liar. What else?
It was such a great story. It's
Wow.
sad. It's sad that we look at it now this way.
Not really. If you
Well,
cheat,
coming back from cancer
Well,
and
that
winning
part of
7
it,
Tour
that
de
part of
France's.
it.
I
Let's
mean,
tell the audience, Cujo is French, and the French were not big
Yeah.
fans of Lance Armstrong
Oh my
because he
God.
beat them
Come
at
on.
their native sport.
No,
Tour de
no.
France, you should know everything.
No, they weren't. The French hated Lance Armstrong.
Well,
They didn't like the
I
American
said for
guys
the millionth
smoking
time,
them at their own
I
sport.
am not literally French, but whatever.
Literally just
Michael.
figuratively.
Well, this is actually a topic that I'm amused that Lance Armstrong could keep this act as an inspirational character for all these years. And he admitted to a doctor in 1996 that he was using PEDs just so he could keep going. And then everyone that ever supported him, he turned against them, went out on them, and tried to act like it was him against the world. And it's actually ridiculous to me. I cannot understand how he went along as such an inspirational character when really he was just a lying, cheating fool.
There you go. Harsh words from Mike.
Wow.
There you go. Wow. You got to let him know.
Really?
Yeah.
You don't think the same
First
thing?
of all,
He's not who you think he is.
First of all, you guys keep glossing over the fact that he battled back from cancer. I don't give a damn if he did steroids or whatever. He had cancer. Okay? Who cares if he did steroids if he was battling back from cancer? So do I think it's sad that he he lied and then got all these people to spend a lot of money on cancer? On fixing cancer? No.
It's not just
I think it
Livestrong,
stinks
though.
that he took steroids, but he battled back from cancer. I don't care. If I had cancer, I'd do whatever it takes so I can keep living.
I think
Steroids didn't help his
You're missing
cancer.
the point, though.
That's
he
not the
he
point.
He was a
did
jerk. He was a jerk. He went against his
Clay,
teammates.
lying
who
on
supported
national
him.
TV.
They
What
lied for him.
professional athlete
They lied
is telling
for him,
them?
and
Okay.
they still said,
So if
guess what? No,
So
get out of my way. I
To
don't
you,
want you.
lying on national TV live is all right.
He didn't even fully come out. He didn't even fully come out in the
I gotta
interview.
tell you, because this
Twice.
is the type of person I am. To me, lying on national television is no different than lying to somebody in a library if you're talking about something else. I don't like that he lied at all. I think it's bad. Lying is never good. You should never lie to anybody.
Right.
But the fact of you guys are just going to sit up here and ridicule Lance Armstrong for lying about taking steroids. Everybody in the sport of bicycle racing took steroids. 6 out of the last 7 champions had tested positive, and the other guy will probably test positive pretty soon. You'll probably find out about it. They all cheated. This isn't even like baseball where it's 40% of the guys. This is 100% of the guys. They all cheated.
All right.
You know what? You know what happens with the Lance Armstrong championships? They tried to give it to the second place guy. He cheated. They tried to give it to the third place guy. He cheated. They all cheated. So like Lance Armstrong had some huge competitive advantage. He was going against it. That's like saying you can't bring a gun to a fight when everybody else has guns. They all cheated. And I think what
there's
Lance
a correlation.
whether Lance Armstrong lied or not, what he did for cancer research and all that is great. So I don't think different about him at all about that.
Really?
It sucks that he cheated, but that's part of life. People cheat. I read an article today in the New York Times, and they said that what can we believe in sports anymore? It really doesn't change anything for me in the overall look of sports or anything. That's life, you know. The Wall Street people cheated everybody out of their money. What are we? We're still in the same situation. So
Yeah, I think the fact they cheated the game, I think it's horrible. But you have a point. They all did it, but still, I don't think that gives him the right or anyone else the right to use performance enhancers when it's banned. But he did some great things. I'll totally admit
no
that.
doubt.
The Live Strong, everything he had going there, the charity, the motivational story there. Some of the stuff he did was great. It seems like the ending to the story is not so great.
Hey,
Bittersweet
hey,
to it.
how
you
this
know what
is,
though? The story isn't
going on.
over yet. We don't know
I
how the
agree.
story's going to end. We're a second chance society. Whether he lied for 16 years, still a second chance society. If you let Michael Vick get away with, if you let Michael Vick have his dog problems and come back, I think anybody. I don't see why Lance Armstrong couldn't turn his life around and the way people view him. And I think this is a great lesson to society, especially America, of not putting athletes, politicians, whatever you want, on a pedestal. That's the biggest problem here is you find famous people, you put them on a pedestal. At the end of the day, they're real people. They're just like everybody else. They're really no different. They have problems. Nobody's perfect. So that was a great topic, obviously. We're going to talk about the Minnesota Timberwolves. Kevin Love, Michael's guy. There's been some trade rumors going around. Last week, the Memphis Grizzlies offered Rudy Gay for Kevin Love. The Timberwolves turned it down. There's been a lot of stuff going around, and many people want to know, should the Timberwolves get rid of your boy K. Love? Michael, we'll start with you.
You know, I've never been a big fan of David Kahn and the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Who has?
Operating.
Yeah, join the line. It's out the door. and around the
Exactly.
barn.
Right.
But I don't see a reason for them to give up on K-Love yet. You got, or even K-Love to give up on the Wolves because they've been injured. They've been banged up the last couple of years. They've got an up-and-coming team. Rubio's been banged up. Roy, they went out and got him this year. He got hurt. Budinger's out for a couple months. It's ridiculous. He's just right down the line, and I don't understand. That'd be like LeBron walking out on Cleveland, right, Cujo? If he were happened to.
Wait,
I was promised we're not going to talk about that.
Wait, LeBron
Since you just mentioned
LeBron
that.
did walk out on Cleveland, though.
But that's the thing. But that's the thing.
Okay.
You don't want to be like
Love grew
you don't
up
want to
in
be like that,
Oregon.
K-Love, do you?
That's not nearly as bad.
This
I
isn't
think-
this isn't the same at all. This is a totally different story.
I was
but-
promised we're not going to talk about LeBron, but whatever, you know, it is
It's
what it is.
LeBron, not
Yeah.
LeBron.
LeBron.
LeBron. I'm just kidding, Cujo. I
We'll
like
have a
your
LeBron.
French
We'll have a LeBron special one day for you.
Yeah.
You
Will
mean,
we
are
ever?
we going to call it the
Kevin-
decision?
No, we're gonna do it next week when you're gone.
I really want
You're already
Atlanta to
thinking
win.
ahead. Okay.
No,
Atlanta's not going to win.
I really
didn't
want
pick
Atlanta
Atlanta,
to
but I'm
win.
gonna
Atlanta's
cheer
not
for
going
him
to win.
this week.
Atlanta's not going to win.
Hi,
No,
Atlanta.
no. Kevin
We'll have
Love.
Mr. Crowett join the
Yeah,
show.
there we go.
No,
Our
Kevin Love
famous
is
math
gonna.
teacher.
Yeah, I think Kevin Love. He should
Shout
be
out.
traded.
He's
I
gonna
don't.
be watching.
Okay, I don't know why you reject that trade. I think Rudy Gay is one of those versatile players. He's great offense. He can play really
Okay,
good
but do you
defense.
think Rudy Gay is better than Kevin Love?
In what? You can't really compare them. They don't have the same game.
What do you mean?
It's like
No.
comparing. No. You can't
The answer
compare
is
them.
no.
Oh,
You can't compare them. Now, Kevin
Cujo.
Love has more.
Cujo.
No.
How
Listen,
can you not compare? You can compare them. They're basketball players. You can compare them. They're in the same league.
really? So you're saying you can compare LeBron to Derrick Rose?
Okay, one's a small
You can't.
forward, one's
Yeah,
a
you
power
can.
forward.
Yeah, you
Well,
can.
then-
You can say which one you'd rather take.
And still,
I'd
Well,
say
yeah,
Kevin
rather
Love.
take is different than comparing the
I'd take
games
Kevin Love
together.
over Rudy Gay.
Well, yeah, you couldn't. I'm not saying Rudy Gay is better, but I'm saying as far as Timberwolves go, they don't have one that great defensive player that can make that stop. Karolinko at times where he's so inconsistent, you don't really know what you're
Come
gonna
on,
get out of him.
Don't say Andre Karolinko.
Yeah, he can play some
Andre
defense.
Karolinko.
He can play some defense sometimes.
He's
He's just
saying K-11.
he's like a 2-year fix.
AK-47, man. I'm telling you. No, Kevin Love. I know he's injured, so people are thinking he shouldn't be traded when he's injured, but he doesn't want to be here. You see his attitude sometimes in the game. He doesn't want to be here, so I think he should be traded.
Well, yeah, I think this trade is definitely something the Timberwolves should consider for
Right.
Rudy Gay. I know they already denied it or whatever, but
Yeah.
I agree that Kevin Love is most definitely a better player than Rudy
Right.
Gay.
Yeah.
But unless the Timberwolves make the playoffs both these next 2 years and show some progress towards maybe even a title, he's not going to stay.
Yeah.
There's a reason he put that in his contract. It's ridiculous that David Kahn didn't give him a max deal in the last offseason. He's saving it for Ricky Rubio. He's in love with point guards. We play with 2 point guards.
I'd
at
rather
the same
keep
time.
Rubio. I tell you what. I'd rather keep Rubio than Love.
To your
What?
point about.
Yes, I just said that.
Oh my!
All right,
Yes.
Cujo.
Yeah, it just move. Yeah, let's
Cujo,
move on.
stop.
Yeah, let's
stop,
just move on.
stop.
So it's all right.
Guess
Yeah.
what? This just proves once again the incompetence. There's not even enough words in the English dictionary for the Timberwolves and the way that they manage the team. They should have signed Kevin Love to a long-term extension, like Jason said. So don't even get the thought out there to anybody that he's leaving. But they didn't. And now I'd be worried. If I was a Minnesota Timberwolves fan, I'd be legitimately worried that Kevin Love is going to be out of here. He can opt out of his contract at the end of next season. That's not very far away.
Yeah.
And if I'm Kevin Love, I'm looking around the market and I'm saying, you got the LA Lakers over
wants to
there, you
win.
got the Bulls. If you want a chance to win, I don't know if you stay in Minnesota. I don't. And Michael said, they got some young talent. We know that they do, but do they have enough or anything close enough to get it done? No. And do they have an ownership that cares about getting it done? I don't know. So I wouldn't be surprised if he got traded. And the Rudy Gay thing, I might have looked at that trade if I was the Timberwolves, and not because I think Rudy Gay is better, but
No,
I'd
he's
rather
not.
get something than nothing for him. And if he opts out of his contract, you're going to get nothing. So that's all we have for the show this week. Thank you for joining us again. We will see you next week with 1, 2, 3. I don't know how many people are going to be on the show.
It's gonna be
Depends on
random.
the Atlanta game. Brown, it was a pleasure doing the
It
show.
was nice
with you.
working
Good
with
luck
you.
in the future and in your life.
We know you're gonna miss me.
Adios.
But I will give you a picture. Don't worry. I will give you a picture.